Yeah, maybe if I turn the mic on. All right. What's up, everybody? It is time. It is Sunday night. It is time for Rob to show the proper screen. Here we go. All Things Fantasy Grounds Talk Show is where we're at every Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We are here this evening to talk about the Solo Adventures Toolbox, and we're going to get to that in just a second. Furied Fate will not be with us this evening. She is not feeling well. And Leroon will be back next week. But we do have a special guest co-host this evening, Miss Lady Shell. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I was just catching up on my All Things Fantasy Grounds links, which we have little blurbs about on the fantasy website. And I'm all caught up, so I'm ready for this episode, and then I'll be get this one all included there. So anyway, that's about all I'm up to. That and doing Drake's game, which he's like stuck us now into Storm King's Thunder from we were playing Crystal Shard. So that was a surprise. Yeah, giants coming after us wanting Artis Simber. We don't know who he is.
Nice. Yeah, the stream is saying that you're pretty low volume, Lady Shell, and I boosted you to 200%, so if you can turn your volume up, that would probably be good, because you are a little faint. We can hear you, but it's not as loud. Also, also nothing. Just all that of what I just said. So, let's welcome in our guest for this evening's show, here to talk about the Solo Adventures Toolbox, which he converted from the PDF to the Fantasy Grounds version. Mr. Walkin' Dude, how are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. Just finishing up Father's Day over here.
Oh, right. You are a father, if I do recall.
That's correct. My little guy is right in there watching some TV, right?
Good on ya. All right. Let's get to it. We are going to give away a copy of this module here tonight for those of you that are in the chat watching, so stand by for that. Right now, we're going to kind of take a look at it. So, it is available on the DM's Guild. I will show you, and I will post a link in the chat in case you want to go check it out on the Guild. And it's called the Solo Adventurers Toolbox for Fantasy Grounds. The price tag is $24.99. It is currently a copper bestseller on its way to silver, and it's got like 18 chapters and whatever, but we're going to take a look right now. So, Walking Dude, you go ahead and tell me, you be the band leader here, and I will follow your commands, and you can walk us through.
All right. Well, let's start in chapter 2. What the module's all about. Everybody's probably heard there's been kind of an uptick in discussion about the solo adventures, like the Death Knight Squire and the Tyrannical Keep and all that, in the discords lately. I played Death Knight Squire again yesterday, as a matter of fact, and whooped its ass. So this is by the same guy. But what it's about is, instead of giving you a predefined adventure that you run through, it gives you the tools that allow you to create an adventure that you can play at the same time. So you can just, and it's not going to be the same adventure every time and everything.
Right.
Okay, so starting in chapter 2 is where it gives you the mechanics of how to do it, where it says unique QA, unique question and answer mechanic. That's basically the core of the whole thing. Is when your character, you create your character, you start it into a scenario, and you get there by asking questions. Like, I've got a group of people rioting. How can if I act like a crazy person, will they leave me alone? You try to formulate yes or no questions, and then you make rolls on tables to answer the question. And you have situational modifiers that you can apply to make to give some variability to how those questions get answered. It's a pretty neat idea, really, how the whole thing fits together.
Cool. So yeah, as we I've not actually really looked at this, so don't assume that I know anything about it. You're literally gonna have to tell me, click on this link, open this story entry, click on that, move this. I'll just follow your instructions.
Right. Well, where you've got right there the reference manual, on the left it says unique question and answer mechanic. It's the second one down in chapter 2.
Okay.
The one right below that. There you go.
Yeah, now remember, you're watching a delayed, so rather than watching your stream and being delayed, just tell me what to click on and I'll do it. That way you can do it on your machine. So as an aside, by the way, everybody, the reason I'm not just sharing his screen and I'm having him walk me through it on mine is when we share screens on Discord, the video is jacked. So I'm trying to get him to just walk me through it. So rather than watching the stream, Walking Dude, just tell me what to click on and assume I've done it.
Okay, I just closed that browser window, so I can't see the stream anymore.
Okay, there you go.
But anyway, that page where it says unique question answer mechanic, that gives you the basics of describing how to set up your questions, which, like I say, that's kind of the core mechanic, but that's not the fun part. The fun part is when you get into all the different rollable tables, and there's several story templates that can be used to automatically generate a dungeon or a tavern or NPCs. There's all kinds of that. So let me get into some of that part. Let's go to 0703, story entry 0703.
Okay.
And that is, there's a link there that says Quest Generator. And when you click on it, this is where it tells you what's the story going to be about that you're going to send your character through.
You heard about a magical chaos or curse resulting in a need to investigate, lift curse, or destroy magic. You found out about the situation from Herald Makes Proclamation in Market Square. All right.
Exactly. And so there's that's drawing off of some tables. So every time you do it, that whole thing's going to be different.
Right.
And so once you know what your story basically is going to be, then you're going to start going through and doing stuff with your character. So go to 0809.
Okay.
That's got the dungeon generator on it. And this is one of the coolest parts because
should I do it?
Generate the dungeon.
Holy Christ. Okay, hold on. Let's see. So, the dungeon is a planar gate. Keep in mind as you determine the objects and encounters found within. The size is a tiny 4-room dungeon, and it will keep producing rooms, passages, and staircase for eternity. The size shown above gives you an idea when you can stop. So, use the appropriate link below to find out more about your starting area. And you can do a passage, a room, a door, a stairs, or an open entrance.
Exactly. So that gives you the first part. What kind of dungeon it is, how big, and what's the starting area. So the starting area can be like a cave opening or a big door, or whatever. And once you get past the starting area, then you generate it one piece at a time, and you can lay out an entire dungeon, and you can draw it like we used to do with the graph paper, or however you want to do it. I tried getting it to just generate the whole dungeon all at once, but it was a mess.
Yeah, that's probably not a good. I mean, it would be cool, but it's just, so I started with a room, and it's a 40-foot, 40 by 40 room with one exit. Each percentage of chance from the table is resolved by the table rule. Look for result N in the text below, where N will be a number from 1 to 100. So, strong NPC, 5 levels higher than your PC. Oh, that's bad. It has just defeated a level appropriate deadly encounter. The NPC tells you to be gone. They stake a claim to the dungeon and all within it. It will fight if challenged, however, also will agree to splitting up and going separate ways, perhaps. Random 30%, result 12. SD 30%. I don't know what SD stands for. Trap, NPC is a rogue, NPC level is determined above. So
secret door, I think.
Secret door, okay, so 30%, result 32. Okay, so secret door 30%, results 32, so there is a secret door. Trap 30%, result 10, so there's not a secret door. I mean a trap. And okay, I get it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the way I set it up is it tells what's the chance of each thing happening, and then it actually gives you the roll that you got. So you don't have to go through a whole bunch of different tables trying to figure out whether there's a trap, whether there's a secret door, all that. It tells you everything right there.
Right.
And then once you resolve everything in that first starting area, then it said there was one exit. So you can say, okay, well, that's what kind of exit is it? Is it a door? Is it a passage? And you can continue on from there.
So the stream is telling me that my mic is peaking out or clipping. I don't know what that means or how to fix it. So if you guys have suggestions, type them in the chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going. Because I bought all this new equipment, but I don't know how to fucking use it. So, I don't know what to tell you. All the games that I played, nobody said anything till today. So,
You're a little loud.
Well, I'm loud because I'm kind of yelling because I'm kind of mad at the chat. But it's more my. I can lower my voice actually. It's funny because I used to have my voice up, and then people said, "Oh, you're not loud enough." Now you're telling me I'm too loud. So I think I have to kind of standardize it. The problem is each person has different headphones. Each person has a different computer. Each person's situation. We're not all using like Apple computer standard. It's not like we all have the iPhone 10. Somebody has a Samsung, somebody has a Pixel, right? You see what I'm saying? Like everybody's different. So all the settings and crap don't work the same for every person. So I don't know. Maybe
How's my sound? Do I sound louder now? I think I changed Discord to be output higher. Do I sound louder? Your silence is deafening.
Did we lose Rob?
I don't know. I think I broke the chat.
No, I muted my mic by accident. I didn't mean to do it.
Oops.
So what I was saying, lady, was I boosted you to 200% on my end, and the only thing I can do is raise the master volume, but that's not gonna be good. So we're just gonna.
My change did not affect anything then.
I don't know. I can't tell. You sound the same to me. I don't know what to say.
Okay.
I don't, the thing is, I want the sound to be good for the stream. I want the audience to be able to hear us and understand us. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to spend all things Fantasy Grounds Talk Show having a fucking Discord seminar and going through, I should do that not on stream. So if somebody wants to get with me after the show and run sound checks with me, that's great. But I don't want to spend the time doing that right now. It's a little frustrating. So sorry about that, Walking Dude. Go ahead, continue.
Oh, that's okay. But anyway, that was the Dungeon Generator, so you can see how that would give you plenty of stuff that you can do. You can have encounters that are kind of weak. You can have encounters that are of pretty much average difficulty, or you can have deadly encounters, and that's all based on your character's level, right? It's going to be either less than the CR is going to be less than your level, or about your level, or more than your level. So all that's covered in this book. Then let's go to 0908.
Okay, 0908. Yep. Overarching terrain.
Yeah, we got the wilderness stuff. I've got a table that I made down at the bottom where you can randomly generate what kind of terrain you're in. And then once you know that, you can use the right table to find out what kind of features of that terrain are near your character. So let's say if you go to the Arctic table, I roll a roll on there, and it gives
I did hills. So hills was what the random terrain gave me. So I rolled on the hills, and it gave me roll for a minor feature, unmarked settlement, and standard D4, 1 to 2 hamlet, 3 to 4 village. Result is a 3, so it's a village. Situated in an overarching terrain, QA rolls to find out more.
And that's question and answer, where you start asking your questions and then roll to find out what the answer
Okay. Now I know that you're we only got so much time on the show and you're kind of bouncing around to showcase it, but is there a step by step through all of this? Like, does it say, hey, start here, step 1, do this, step 2, do that?
It doesn't really do that, but at the very end in chapter 18, there is an example that takes you through from start to finish a gameplay session.
Oh, okay, good. So people can at least watch that or follow that, and then they'll go, okay, I get how this all works. Excellent. Okay.
It does. It kind of puts it all together for you.
All right, cool.
So the next part is taverns, because we have terrain and we have the ability to find towns and villages. So we're going to have taverns and shops and stuff like that, right?
What part? I lost you. Where are we?
1004.
Okay, 1004. I didn't hear you say that. 1004 taverns.
I may not have.
Okay.
And the Tavern Generator is one of the coolest ones that I did. It's got the most stuff on it, I think, because it includes what kind of tavern it is, the name of the tavern, how many rooms it's got, what quality it is, who the innkeeper is. If there's any rumors that are flowing around in the tavern, that's there on that Tavern Generator. Roll that one and see what you get.
Tavern has 6 rooms. The rooms are of good quality. The innkeeper is a human female. There is usually one rumor circulating around. Rumor is spelled with a U. It's very upsetting. It's English. Customer, because that guy's English. Customer service is a tavern. It is typically neutral. Rumors. If the tavern has some rumors circulating, you can use this section to flesh them out. Step 1. Note the subject of the rumor. A person. Consult an Npc Generator, Chapter 13. Just in case, here's a link to chapter. Okay. And if you need more than one rumor, here's a link to rumor table. Awesome. Step 2. Roll for the substance of the rumor. 4 to 5, or however many necessary. Roll on the situations table, Chapter 14.
Yeah, and the situations table is a 499 entry table that all it contains is a bunch of verbs.
Good Lord. And there it is. Nice.
So it gives you 5 rolls from the situation table, and there's a link to the situation table if you decide you need more than 5 rolls off.
Right.
Table.
So it gave us disguise, solicit, hide, boast, and applaud. Now what I guess I get lost there. What do those verbs do for me?
They're basically just to help you flesh things out in case you can't think of a way to frame your question as a yes or no. Then those words can give you clues about what's going on that you can use to flesh other things.
Okay.
What was the name of your tavern, by the way? That was the part I was...
The Golden Bollock.
That's fantastic. There's a list of the first word for the tavern names, and then there's a whole list of the second word for the tavern names, and the story template there just kind of puts them together.
Yeah, like you roll up and it says the veiny shaft and all this kind of shit. Okay, good. I think I made that one up. That's not true. Okay, awesome. What's next?
Next one, let's go to, let's see. Oh, 12.04.
Okay, 12.04.
Main thing I wanted to look at there was where you have a QA result table, which you can use to determine the answer to your yes or no questions. And then if you're dealing with an NPC, then you can use the emotions table to determine the frame of mind of the NPC, and that'll give you a bonus or a minus that you should apply to the result table.
Okay, so let's say I'm going to ask him, do you want to assist me on my quest? And he says, yes. And then his emotion about that is optimistic +5. So
you definitely got a yes.
I just made a friend.
Yeah.
And the modifier is to what roll?
The modifier is actually, you do the emotion roll really before you do the QA results roll.
Oh, so what I should have done was I should have gone to optimistic +5 and then put put a modifier of 5 here, right? And then roll.
You could put it right there on the table. You could put the
yeah,
5
I did.
right there.
I did. Yeah, I did.
Right.
Yeah, so should the emotions table come before that in that story entry? Should they be reversed?
Well, I put them in the order where they were on the
In the
book,
PDF? Okay, yeah, gotcha.
but you're probably right. They probably really should be in the other order.
Okay, that's kind of cool. Because if you get like a -6, he's chances are he's going to say no and whatever.
Yeah, he might even get angry with you or whatever.
Yeah, do you think I'm cool? Yes, no, maybe. The answer is unclear. It's like a Magic 8 Ball, only there's only 3 answers.
Ball. I was thinking that too. Number 13.00.
1300. All right, let's check it out. 1300 is NPC Generator.
And this is another one of the coolest parts, I thought, when I was doing this. It's got a table for all the different characteristics of an NPC: race, gender, alignment, yada yada yada. But of course, where it says putting it all together down there, there's an NPC generator, which is a story template.
All right, let's do it.
And you can use that. Yeah, do it, because it's going to give you the ability scores and everything.
Slightly familiar to something that I may have created. Okay, so this is his attribute stats. He's a true neutral male Goliath. He or she is a commoner and is unemployed. 316 years old. Oh, I see. It's a Goliath. He's 91 years old because it tells you. Mine gives you the age. It doesn't tell you this of this. It gives it to you. Thank you. The NPC is primarily resignation. The NPC is primarily resignation. I think that that might be a table that's rolling a form of a word that doesn't fit grammatically with that, so I don't know what that means. Economic status, well-off, adventurer. They are a level 3 druid. Yeah, so that gives you basically everything you need to know.
Yeah, and all their ability scores and everything are up there.
Yep.
Of course, the adventurer part, if he's a commoner, then he's not an adventurer, but I had to include that in case they are an adventurer. So it says if they're an adventurer, then...
Yeah, it says if they are, so that's covered. Awesome.
Yeah, so you can generate NPCs. I guess you could even use that to generate your character if you wanted to, or
you could,
at least in an elementary sort of way.
There's all kinds of... man, the tables in this thing are crazy.
Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Okay.
14.01.
1401. Element interaction table.
Yep. So you have an element interaction table where you roll initially 4 times to try and generate the seeds of an encounter. And that's on that first table. And
now, there's
also...
okay, do you have to roll 4 times, or is there a template that rolls 4 times for you?
If you go to that element interaction generator...
Uh-huh. Oh, there it is. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, so you can generate all that with 1 click.
People, consult the NPC generator. Situations, prohibit. Situations, dazzle. Events, will display 1 urban event and 1 wilderness event. Use the one that fits your scenario. Urban is revolution taking place, or wilderness, army encamped. Attack the army. If you're by yourself, just attack the army. That's what I would do.
That's exactly what you should do.
If these don't provide you with enough information, keep rolling on the table. Yeah, so it really doesn't leave you hanging if you don't get information. Either don't get enough, or you don't get the information that you like. You can just redo it. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and it gives an example of how to use that one a little bit further down on that page, where it gives you your example rolls, what you got, and tells you how you can kind of link all those rolls together.
Right. Cool. Ooh, creatures. And
it gives you a list of urban events, things that can happen in a town or village that you're visiting, and a list of wilderness events. And these don't have to be a combat or anything. It's just sometimes they are. monster easy encounter or whatever, but sometimes it's just you come across a tree that fell down, or you get involved in a flash flood or something like that. And
Yeah.
then there's, so, but
All
that's
right, cool.
yep.
So
Now
yeah,
let's go.
I'm starting to see how you can just, I mean, it's what the title says. It's the Solo Adventurer's Toolbox. You can just create an adventure and go for it, and you don't need any other players. You can just do this yourself.
Yeah, it doesn't. You've got the wilderness covered. It's got towns covered. It's got the taverns and shops covered. It's got price lists, and the chance of finding a particular type of shop in a particular type of town based on the size of it. All that stuff is included in this book.
Cool.
16.06.
Oh, excellent. Let's show the image. Ooh, oh, watch out for that dude. Holy Christ, don't be in that boat. Encounters by PC level. Excellent. So this goes all the way to, I'm assuming, 20th level. 15th level.
Yeah, that was as high as the
Okay.
tables in the book were, but you've got, for each level, you've got encounters easy, medium, hard, and deadly.
Right, so let's look at a level 5 hard encounter and see what we get. And it tells us 3 CR4s and 4 CR8 1/8. CR 1/4, I'm sorry. 1/4. That's pretty cool. So it gives you the monsters you need to choose for that type of encounter.
Right, and now click to go to the next page.
Ah! Holy shit. Oh, this is what... Yeah, this is what I wanted my encounter creator to be. But
yeah,
this is where the fucking tables are right here. Holy shit.
Yeah.
So
for every type of terrain, you've got all the different ranges of CR. So the first page tells you how many creatures and what CR, and then you go to this page and you decide exactly what those creatures.
Yeah. And you could, if a DM so chose, I don't know that we would do it here, but because it would involve like a billion combinations, but you could nest those tables if you wanted to. And you could make it roll like on the page before where it said, one CR8 and one CR0, you could then have this table roll on those tables, and it would just get fucking insane. But which would be really cool.
Well, I couldn't. Yeah, I just couldn't figure out how to do that and take all those different types of terrain into account.
Yeah, that's what a couple guys are working on. I have kind of a secret project going. It's sort of secret, but I have told people. See, Shad is saying, doesn't it roll the monsters for you? But there'd literally be like 2,000 tables in there, because my encounter creator does do that. My encounter creator does roll the monster for you. And I think there's 2,000 tables in there. It's insane what it has to do just to roll one monster or one type of monster. This is mixing types of monsters, so there would literally just be thousands upon thousands of combinations. But this isn't really what we're supposed to talk about tonight, but since it came up, the project that's being worked on is something where you can go inside Fantasy Grounds and you can open up a box with like variables in it, and you can say, okay, I want an encounter that mixes 3 types of monsters for a party of 4 that are all level 5 in the Arctic setting, and I want one of those monsters to be a boss. Like anything you can think of to make an encounter, like any types of variables, you just check off what you want. And I didn't even know this was possible to do in Fantasy Grounds, but anything's possible if you know how to code shit. So that's actually going to be a future thing that's coming down the line. And my encounter creator that I have now basically only rolls monsters equal to the party's level and only one type of monster. So you could roll twice and then divide the monsters by 2 and mix them together. You could still do that. It's even in the instructions of my encounter creator. And then what this is doing is it's going a step further by telling you, you need this this many of this CR and this many of this CR, and then you go and you got to manually roll them and add them together in an encounter. So it's sort of one step beyond what I have, but not as automated. But yeah, in order to do what he was asking in the chat is you would literally, I mean, I don't know how many thousands of tables that would be, because you're talking about not just this many times this many, but you're exponentially starting to multiply things by factors, and you get into 2, 3, 4 factors, and now you've got, you know, fucking 5,000 tables or whatever. So it wouldn't be practical, but anyway, this is pretty cool. And yeah, they're only links, guys. So don't think that if you go buy this, you're going to get all the monsters, because like it says, you get, you know, they're only links. So if you don't own the book, and I'm assuming he just did monster manual only, or did he do other monsters?
I think that there may be some other kinds of monsters as well.
He might have done Volos or whatever. Yeah. So, did you put in the description of the module that in order for the monsters to work, you have to own the sources? Did you put a note about that?
I don't remember. I can look.
Because we probably, if that's not there, we want to conversion notes.
All creatures.
Oh yeah. Yep, you did.
Are linked to their stat corresponding. Yes, so that is in there.
So it's Monster Manual, yes, Tome, Mordenkainen's, and Volos Guide to Monsters. Okay, which are the 3 standard D&D books. Okay, good. All right.
But it also says in the table, like in the monster table for, let's say, Dungeon Underdark CR5, the Tanaruk, which is on page 186 of Volos, or the Zorn, which is on page 304 of the Monster Manual. So all that's listed on the table.
So if somebody doesn't like the stat block and they want to look it up in the book, they can go look it up. They know the page number.
Right.
All right. Excellent.
So now let's look at Chapter 18.
Chapter 18.
Because that's going to give us our example play session.
Okay.
So we could kind of put all of this together and see how it would work for somebody. The second one, getting started, this is the part where it says, well, you have to have a PC made, obviously. You create a backstory for your character. According to the book, a character backstory is even more important for a solo adventure than it is for a regular adventure.
What the fuck? This says create your PC in Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds. You got to go in and take out Roll20.
Does it say that, really?
It does, yeah. And I know that that's a PDF that you're copying from, but we need to take that out of there. That's bullshit.
Oh, it does say that.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. But I know when you're copying and pasting, you're not really reading, internalizing. But when I saw that, I was a meltdown. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take it out of my copy right now.
There you go. Anyway, you get to the third page. That's where it starts getting into it. So the example, he's playing two player characters, a dwarf paladin and a ranger.
Okay.
And so he says, straight away, I'm interested in how these two came to meet each other. So I'm going to make a couple of preliminary question answers to find that out.
Okay.
And I included those each on their own story entries.
Yeah, so he says, have these two known each other for a long time? The answer was no.
Right.
They just met recently. Okay. And then he says, did they meet in a town of Hourglass where they are currently situated? Maybe. Answer, since I got a maybe, I decided that they met somewhere near Hourglass. Yeah, so it kind of just sort of helps you to decide what you want to decide, and you can kind of create your own flavor or backstory for these characters if you're playing two characters.
And as an aside here, playing through the Death Knight Squire like I did the last couple of days, I found out that that RFI extension that I think you use it, don't you?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That makes solo play much more enjoyable to me.
Yeah, it automates a lot of the crap, right?
Well, it makes it feel more like I'm not just playing as my own DM, Yeah. I'm actually a DM on one side and a player on the other side. It kind of separates it.
Right.
Apart. Let's see. What's the next thing? Quest generation table. So we got a magical chaos or curse of some sort. And it says, but I need more details. So I progress to the next table, the quest source table. Okay. And on there we got a treasure map. So the source of the quest was they found a treasure map of some sort.
Cool.
Now here's the part you were really asking about, how you deal with those verbs on the verb table.
Right.
And it gives the roles they got down here. A little more information on the nature of the quest is required. So I head to the story element interaction tables, and he rolls his 5 verbs, and he gets exaggerate, praise, mimic, drop, and summon. So he says, okay, I could praise could suggest a temple. So I decide that the treasure map leads to a temple. Summon gives me some clues about the magical chaos. Perhaps a dark priest summons some otherworldly beings to protect a treasure in the temple. See how it all fits together?
Yeah, so you're kind of left up to make up your own thing. I think in that story entry that you were just reading in the second paragraph after interpreting the rules, there's a big space in the middle of that paragraph after the word somewhere before perhaps. That usually means that was supposed to be an ellipse that got copied out wrong or whatever. That's usually what that is.
In mine, it is an ellipse.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, why would it be that way in yours and not mine? That's just super weird. So yeah, you kind of, so it doesn't really do, like this, the person that's reading these rules, the player is going to read these words, and then they're going to kind of make up their own story. It doesn't literally spell out what the story is. You got to kind of use these words to help you create your own story, I think is how this goes.
Absolutely. And it even says right in chapter 1 during the introduction, there's a story entry called Your Creativity Required. Since you're playing the part of the DM and the player, you will need to exercise your creativity in giving your PCs a surprising and interesting experience.
Got
this
it.
is just giving you the tools to
Right.
help you do that.
All right, very good.
Let's see, where were we? Quest source table, yeah. So we got that part handled. Next, we start asking more questions. What's the nature of the curse? And when did this happen? And so they decide that a dark cultist or similar individual has his base in the temple where he has summoned some sort of thing that's causing mischief around Hourglass, blah, blah, blah. And then they make a QA roll to find out if the disturbance happened recently, and they get a maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
From this answer, I deduce no one really knows. Yeah. So
they don't know when it starts.
Right. Where does the treasure map point to? To establish this, we can use the rumor location table. Rumor with a U because he's English, because that guy's English. Found in Chapter 3, Chapter 10. A handy little table for establishing locations at random. So he rolls in this settlement area. So it's right where they are now. So they got lucky, and it's like, oh, it's here.
Well, in a way, that's lucky, but not so much for the people in Hourglass, right?
Yeah, because they're about to get ritualized or something.
Yeah, chaoticized.
Yeah, they're chaoticized. That's right.
And they ask some more questions. How will they gain access to the temple? Why did this happen? Who caused it to happen? And they flesh all of that whole bunch of stuff out. And then they get underway.
And they say, yeah, that gives us the basic. So the 2 PCs set out, making their way through the streets. And they use the table to generate a number of urban encounters. So they roll those up, and they get, let's see, they roll, every 12 hours, the guy says. But it doesn't take 12 hours to get from one to the other, so I decided to make 2 D100 rolls. Not because it's chronologically accurate, but because there's more of a chance my PC's getting into an encounter from 2 rolls than 1. So he rolls 41 and 10. The second roll triggers a random encounter, so go to chapter 5. Get a 5. A guided tour proceeds past just as the guide drops a particularly tasty snippet of local knowledge which a PC was unaware of.
Does the snippet concern the temple? And the answer is yes.
Great, but I need details. So he rolls 4 verbs: gossip, grieve, displease, and bribe. And then he makes an interpretation about that. Yeah, I see how this is going. So yeah, you're basically... This is kind of really cool because it doesn't railroad you. It doesn't say, this specific thing happens. It says, here's an idea of what do you think happens? And then you can kind of make the adventure what you want it to be.
Right, and the only thing that you kind of worry about not cheating on is when you're in actual combat.
Right. Bromar and Rakkar reach the temple. Do they see anything? Do they see anyone around who looks like they might know something? Yes, excellent, but who is it? Let's roll on the NPC tables. Oh, okay. Multiple rolls. Lawful good human male. Let's give him a name. Thane Dornit. Use whatever tools you want to name your PCs. He's a grave digger, he's amused, and he's just getting by. He's paycheck to paycheck, as they say.
That means he cannot withstand a $400 unexpected expense.
That's right. That's the definition of paycheck to paycheck. He shows them to the entrance to the a passageway, a drain, so they proceed over there. And then he's going to randomly dungeon generate. So
he is.
He rolls. Passage goes 30 feet and ends in stairs. Go to stairs. And he maps this out. I guess he maps it out on his flip mat. You could do it on, like a graph paper, or you could even draw it in a mapping program if you were that crazy about it.
Or just imagine how cool it will be once we have Unity and the map.
Hello! That'll be fucking awesome. You can just draw it right in there. Can't do that now.
Absolutely.
So, George Orr says, my favorite is that sort of random world pulls a verb, adjective, and a noun. Heal ancient beasts rather than 5 verbs. You could also make changes, George. You could make your own. That's the good thing about Fantasy Grounds is if you have a module and you're like, you know what would be better? What if I just do this? Then you can. You can just do whatever the fuck you want. Okay, so he goes to the stairs and he says, up 1 level to a room, add 30 to your room contents roll. And he says, oh, okay. So he rolls on the room table. He rolls a circular D4 times 10 diameter with D4 exits. So he gets those parameters. And in the contents of the room, he rolled a 40.
And it should be noted that when you roll the room with the Fantasy Grounds table, it'll automatically generate those dimensions for you. You don't have to do an extra.
It does the math for you, yeah. So he rolls a 42 because he had to add 30 to his 12. And so he does the first encounter, and then I'm assuming he just fights that out. Does it say that he does that here? But, you would just go battle out that encounter.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And then if you're still alive, you keep going.
and he gets loot and a clue and a chance for a secret door and, all those things that are on those.
Right. So he does the encounter. It is a two CR 1/8 monsters. And he says, I know who I'm about to face. Should I use dungeon or urban? I'm going to go with dungeon. And he rolls a monodrone. All right, so I'm facing, Squareware is sort of like this. Squareware, that's available in the Fantasy Grounds store and on Steam. And it was written by Chris from GTW. It was a Kickstarter, and then it came out a few months ago. And it's sort of a randomizer kind of like this. This is, but his specific purpose of it is to use it for parties, to like if you're having an adventure with like 4, 5, 6 people in it. This is obviously a solo thing. But these ideas, man, this is great because for an agoraphobic, what do you call people? For agoraphobic misanthrope like myself, this is great because I just can play by myself. George Orr has subscribed to the stream. Thank you so much, George. I appreciate that.
Nice.
By the way, it was before the stream started, but Lady Shell donated. She sure bits. I don't know, what was it? 1 million, Lady Shell, something like that. I don't know what it was. It was a lot.
100.
100. Okay. 10,000 bits. So she's bit boss from now until like July 15th. A roll a d8 to determine how many squares away the monodrones are. Yeah, so you can just randomize your whole thing that you're doing with your combat and everything. Awesome. Time to kick some monodrone ass. Yeah. Using 2d6s as tokens for the monodrones. Yeah, of course he's saying that because it's not Fantasy Grounds. Yeah, so here's him.
We would use tokens for the monodrone.
Yeah, but here's him, what he would do. You know, this is from the PDF because you're obviously fighting on a battle map or whatever. In Chapter 15, I provided a couple of option tables and some mechanics. Let's be honest, all these systems are optional to determine how monsters might behave. Oh, that's kind of cool. Like, do the monsters fight to the death? Do they run away? Do they try to trick you? Whatever the hell it is.
Exactly.
Monster views this area as its territory and you as a challenger. It attacks immediately, trying to drive you backward. It might take strength checks to push you back. Okay, awesome. Monster reaction table, round by round. Creature uses its main attack. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Tells you every round what it does. Pretty cool. Fight's over. The loot percent. He gets a yes. Nice. From here, I go to the loot tables in Chapter 17 and roll on the CR 1/8 individual treasure table. 12 silver pieces. Yay. Actually, it says yay. I make a note of this.
Another whole bunch of tables was all those different.
All the loots. Yeah, the treasure. I saw that earlier. I looked ahead a little bit because as soon as I see the word treasure, I have to fucking look at that.
Individual ones, and then there was horde tables.
Horde treasure, yeah. So, is there a secret door, and does he get a clue? He gets a 56, which tells me there are no clues here. If there would, I would go roll on the clue table. And onward, I go back to the passage, and I decided to take the east tunnel. So then he's going to obviously roll room contents. He gets a 42 again, but that was for a different table. An NPC, enemy or ally of the PC near death. 1d4 levels less than you, unconscious, level appropriate, hard encounter, enemy or enemies reduced to 50%, HP, loot 50%. A battle has obviously gone on here. The NPC has fought a powerful creature and lost, but has damaged it somewhat. What have we stumbled onto here? So he decides that the scout is a man, the NPC on the ground is a man, he's a sorcerer, but presently unconscious. Who's the villain here? My PCs don't know, but I am a pseudo DM. I use that phrase a fair bit. Can ask some questions. Does the scout seem to react favorably, with a U, he's English, that guy's English, to our arrival? Straight D20, no modifier. So he says no. Okay, so Bromar gets a bad feeling about this guy, and also decides, I'm going to roll on the disposition table for this guy, and he is reckless. And he's like, oh, it's not looking good. Yeah, this is really fucking cool. And I'm impressed by how this guy thought this all out.
And I have to say that it was definitely an exercise in will for me not to correct all those U's.
Yeah. Well, there's a story. I'll take a little moment here to tell a story that I heard I think I heard it on the Dragon Talk podcast or somewhere, but I think it was Chris Perkins told this story that the original U modules, which have now been done for 5th edition for Ghosts of Saltmarsh, but they were originally produced in the UK. The TSR had a UK office in the mid 80s, and so the U modules were produced there. And since it was in England, they spelled all their shit armor with a U, and all those fucking words had U's in them. And the English or the American office said, you got to take those out because it's world standardized. And And they're like, well, it's English. And they go, yeah, but it's the king's English. It's not American Standard English, which is what the world expects to see. So they had a big fight about it, and they took them all out. And then the guy who was the author, he went down to the fucking printing office and put them all back in as they were printing it. And yeah, and then all fucking hell broke loose, and everybody got fired, and it was crazy. But yeah, I mean, that's interesting to know that kind of shit all happened way back in like the mid 80s.
So clearly that guy rolled an 89 on his disposition because he was reckless.
Yeah, exactly. So, was Ferris a prisoner here? Maybe. Ferris is delirious and we can't get much sense out of him. Perhaps he manages to mutter a few words. Let's roll on the situations table. Near transform wound collaborate. 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 That's not a word. Okay, perhaps these aren't the exact words that Ferris says, but this is a general gist of what Rackar and Bromar get. What can they interpret? Interpreting the situation table words. And again, this is just left up to how you want to interpret it. So he does it a certain way, and you do it your way. Final encounter. Bromar and Rackar versus Skulk, Oblex, Spawn, and Homunculus. Holy shit. Here they are in the mat, everybody. Don't panic. And since he's English, he says, right! So I'm thinking that we should probably, because you start every sentence with right, and spell every word with a U, and spell check,
and
say governor. What governor? Poppin' J. Fox, isn't it? Alright, since the scout encounter, which is supposed to be hard, was a bit of a pushover for my PCs, any number of these can skew in the encounter in a particular direction, I'm going to make the next one deadly. So he decides to do that. So he rolls a 1 CR half, plus a 1 CR quarter, plus 1 CR 0 monster. Okay. And he decides this is the 3 monsters. That's my trio. And he decides he doesn't just do a straight fight. Somehow managed to summon the Oblex Spawn, whose presence here is disturbing the natural equilibrium. He also has a Homunculus as a minion. And these are the 3 guys that find... Oh, this is so fucking cool. So, they come through a secret door. It's trapped. Do my PCs notice? If it's trapped, then either Skulk crafted the trap or took advantage of an existing trap and decided to use the room as a base. I think the second one is a more likely scenario, and the Skulks are more known for their cunning than their crafty ability, so I make a QA roll. Is the room trapped? Yes. Did the Skulk take advantage of an existing trap? Yes. But the question is, do my boys think to look for it? Perception, insight check. Or if so, do they notice it? And he gives the DCs for which is just a regular Dungeon Master's Guide DCs, to check for the traps. And let's see, he rolls. It's a trapdoor, DC 11, save DC 17, damage 2d6. Holy Christ. So, and all this is done from tables. All of this is done from tables. So
yeah, there's a whole trap. There's a whole another story template that you can use to generate traps. Mm-hmm. What kind of trap? All that stuff that you see.
Yeah, probably what somebody would do is all the different tables that you're going to use, you probably just hotkey them down here on the bottom, because you have 90.
Have to pretty much.
Yeah, 96 hotkey combinations, 12 times 8 basically, because you can do all Control Shift and all different combinations of that, so you have 96 spaces. All right. So they avoid the trapdoor. Now they stand face to face with their adversaries. So I'm assuming this goes through, and each round they roll to see what the monsters do, and he fights them, and we don't have to go through all that, but just to know that it's done. And they get the fight done, and basically you can see that using the system requires you to jump all over the place, accessing different tables from different chapters we needed. Get familiar with the contents in the menu on the left, and open using bookmarks. Getting to grips with this will enable you to move very quickly, and that's what we were talking about just now. You just hotkey everything. So there you go. That's how you do it. Fucking awesome.
What do you think, man?
I can't wait to try this. I since you did it, and since we had it, and the guy gave it to us, and it was all, I just never even haven't had time to look at it. But that the haven't had time to look at it excuse basically is the end of every sentence, and 9 out of 10 sentences I say today. If I say something 9 out of 10 times, I'm ending it, but I haven't had time to look at it. But this looks really fun. I can't wait to try it. What I would like to do is give one away right now. Let's do that.
Oh, that sounds like a great idea.
Let's do it, everybody. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to give away a raffle. So I appreciate everybody coming to the show and hanging out. So right now we're going to do a keyword raffle. The keyword is going to be dude, as in walking dude. Don't type it in yet. Wait till I start it. It's not going to do you any good if you do it now. Solo Toolbox, we'll call it for short. So let's start it, and we'll start a counter. Okay, now, if you're watching in the chat, you can type in exclamation dude, and then we will draw a winner and give this module to them for free. Free means you don't have to pay for it, because it's $25, you guys. $25 to make you holla, but you pay $24.99, and basically you have a D&D 5e game anytime you want. You don't have to get other players. Boffin already has it, yay. You don't need anybody but yourself. Also, you can play and then stop and then come back to it and everything else, right? So this is a pretty awesome thing to have. I think we've already sold, what did we say, 68 copies have been sold since it came out, so hopefully we can get that to 100 today. I don't know. If you guys, so I've been trying to pay attention to chat, but as you know, I yap and I don't stop talking. So if you guys have questions, ask them. If you asked a question and I didn't answer it, please re-ask it, and I will try to look at the chat right now and get some questions. Lady, did you have any questions?
Nope, but I just put that I have my sub anniversary, 12 months.
Oh, snap. Awesome. That's great. Thank you for that. Shad, I'm talking about paid copies. Free copies don't count towards sales. Actually, 75 are out there, but we gave away 7 of them. So it's only 68. Because if you give something away, it doesn't count. Ooh, those of you that have entered, you'll have a good chance. Only 9 people have entered in the chat. There's like about 40 people in the chat, but only 9. Hopefully that means 31 people already bought it.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. So we will draw a winner. And let's see who the winner is. Draw winner. Oh, snap. The Garvster. Congrats to the Garvster. Following the channel since 23 October 15. That's like the day or the day after I started. What's up, dude? Yeah. Wow, that's pretty amazing. So, congrats to the Garster. You know what to do. Contact me in Discord. And, guys, if you're not in our Discord, let me put the link in the chat right now. Come on into our Discord. We always have discussions every day and hang out there and have fun. If you're a person who happened to watch this on YouTube and you went all the way through and you're at this point right now, first of all, make sure you subscribe and ring the notification bell. But if you're watching on YouTube, you can't win prizes watching on YouTube. You have to watch it live. So you have to come and watch us Sundays at 6 p.m. Pacific and you win stuff. I don't think that, as a matter of fact, I know there's never been a Sunday show, or we used to do it on Tuesdays as well at the very beginning, but there's never been an All Things Fantasy Grounds where I didn't give at least one prize away. It's never happened. And sometimes we've given over $1,000 worth of stuff on one question. How many tables, Diablo Bob wants to know? Do you know the answer?
Oh, yep. God.
I'll tell you.
Be able to count them real quick.
I can.
4 pages, so it's over 300.
Yeah, I can tell you how many. Okay, so it is. It's 304.
304, sorry.
Yeah, 304 tables. So have at it. God damn, that's a lot of tables. This took him a long time to make, you guys. And I get money, and the author gets money, but also Walking Dude gets money. So if you guys buy this, he gets money because he did some, all the work on it. So that's how it works. My name sells it, but he's the one that made it, so he gets money. So let's see, what else was I? Oh yeah. So I gave away the prize. I talked about Discord. I talked about YouTube. Come watch us live. And I think that's it. I think we just end the show. How much? Oh, we did an hour. Wow, fantastic.
That was some good timing, man.
That was good timing. Question, how many tables are there? 304. Thanks, Lady Shell. Just make the macros and format the format. Okay. How many hand cramps did that cause? Diablo Bob wants to know.
None, thankfully, but that I type all the time. That's what I do for my job, so
Very good.
I'm pretty used.
Well, thank you. I'd like to publicly say, I mean, I know I told you in private, but thank you publicly for making that. It is awesome. I mean, money's good, but what I enjoy about it is that people have, I mean, there's the other solo adventures which are really awesome, but the other solo adventures, you play them and you can replay them with the different PCs. So you could play them like 12 different times and try one PC of each class. But this thing is like an endless treasure trove of forever. This thing just goes on and on. You can use it a million times. So that is pretty cool. Any final words, Walking Dude, you'd like to pass on to people, or say something, or whatever you want to say, you can say it.
Well, I had a lot of fun making this. There's most of the ones that we do are a lot of fun to make, and I learn stuff every time. What I've been thinking while we've been going through this thing for this hour is, I wonder what I would do a little different if I did it now compared to, a few months ago or whatever when I did
And do you have an answer for that?
There's a couple of places I noticed where I could probably nest tables a little bit more than I did.
Well, nothing's stopping us from doing that. We can do that if you want. You can tell me what changes you'd made, and then we can make those.
I will look into that.
All right. Very good. Before we go, let me go back to the screen here for a second, because I do want to look at the schedule for upcoming shows. We should talk about that. Again, I'll put the link for the for what we just went over in the chat in case people want to go look at it. If you didn't win and you're thinking about getting it, you can go to that link. And if you use that link, that's a special link. I get even more. I'm so greedy.
Oh yeah, Diablo Bob reminds us about taking out Roll20.
Oh yeah, take out Roll20. Okay. So we did this one. So next week, I'm particularly excited about next week's show. Next week's show, we will be going over Acquisitions Incorporated. Our special guest is the fucker who made it. That's me. It comes out Tuesday, so you can buy it as early as Tuesday, but we won't be able to go over it till Sunday because it doesn't come out till Tuesday. So the next opportunity we have is Sunday. And here it is right here. Converted by Rob Tui. Thank you. So we'll look into it. We'll go over it. I would have done it earlier, but I was strictly forbidden to not do any. I mean, you can go to this. This isn't secret. You can go to this now. You just can't buy it, but you can go to this. This is the Smiteworks store. You can go to that link. You can look at the screenshots I have. These have already been here for like almost a month, but can't really show anything on stream until it goes on sale, which is Tuesday. So Sunday we will go over this. I will probably buy a copy. Even though I made it, I don't get free copies. I get one free copy. But I will probably buy a copy of this and then give it to somebody on stream. So if you're here next week, you might win this. And it is pretty fun. So we'll go. I'm not going to say too much about it because we're going to do a whole show on it. But that's what we're doing next week. The week after that, we're going to have Mark Sim, who is a Fantasy Grounds community member. He's going to come on and talk about Savage Worlds. So I'm a huge 5e guy. All I ever do is talk about 5e. I'm trying to show some love to the other rule sets. So if anyone listening is a self-proclaimed expert in a rule set and wants to come on the show and talk about another rule set, Cthulhu, Pathfinder, whatever it is, you just get a hold of me and we'll get you on the show. So we're going to go over Savage Worlds. Week after that, big time get. Been trying to get her for like 6 months. Lisa Chen is going to be on the show. For those of you who don't know who Lisa Chen is a Wizards of the Coast community manager for Adventurers League. She also works for the DMs Guild, and that's really the reason I'm having her on the show, is that she is a community manager for DMs Guild. If you email DMs Guild about a problem or something, that's who you're emailing. So I am excited to have her on the show. and we are still looking for show ideas. So, she replaced Robaducci on... Was Robaducci an AL? Maybe she is. Yeah, she's awesome. Lisa's awesome. She changed her name on Facebook to, like, Lisa Renaissance or something. I don't know. It confused me. I'll have to ask her about that. So we're still looking for show ideas. Of course, we will have Walking Dude back again. We're going to have Matakuri on the 11th of August to talk about the DM's Guild Forge, but he'll also come on to talk about modules he's done. And then the big show is the 28th of July. That is the second anniversary of Fantasy Grounds College, so that's the Founders Day weekend. There's games all weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Last thing on the Sunday is this show, and we're giving away 4 Ultimate licenses that day. So you either can win a license if you don't have one, and normally prizes are not transferable. This one is. If you win a license and you already have one, you can give it to a friend or a member of your gaming group or whatever. So July 28th, write it fucking down. Do it. Do it now. And then we want to have... actually, this right here is already gone. I just took care of that. And this one too. Oh, and I forgot. The week after next, Digital Dave will be here on the 30th to talk about Starfinder. So we're going to have Dave back again. Dave's been on the show a couple times. So very good, everybody. That's what's happening. Lady Shell, how about you? Any final words?
I just wanted to mention that our contest that we're having for DMs to post games during our Founders Day weekend, we will be giving away our $100 gift certificate to the Fantasy Grounds store on the 28th of July show here. So
whoa!
You can include us in that too.
And you're giving that away on the Sunday show?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Okay, so let me add that $100
gift certificate for the Fantasy Grounds store.
Whoa! So
some games, people. You get included.
4 ultimate licenses, $100 gift certificate to the FG store, and whatever I decide to give away in addition to all that on that day, which will be based on my mood. So, but those licenses, one is from Smiteworks itself, one is from Fantasy Grounds College, one is from Fury Fate out of her own pocket, and one is from me out of my own pocket. So that's what we're doing. Super exciting, everybody. I think that's it. Join me tomorrow for Module Creation Monday. I'll probably be working on Encyclopedia Formulae version C, letter C, unless something else comes up. And, of course, you know where to find us always. Every show that we do is at 6 p.m. Pacific, unless it's the alternate Saturday and we're playing Dave's Basic D&D. That starts an hour later, which is this coming Saturday. So I think the date is, the 22nd? We should be playing Basic D&D. That will be episode 1, because we did have a session 0 where we talked for 3.5 hours and only thing we did was roll stats. But, yeah, episode 1, 622, right there. And the dragon's wearing a hat. That's Dave's hat. The dragon's has it on. Dave doesn't know. I haven't shown that to him. All right. Thanks, everybody. Quick outro today, because I actually have to go do something at 7:30. So I'm not going to ramble on. Plus, Fury's not here. She's the one that gets me rambling for 14 hours after the show's over. So thanks to my co-host, Lady Shell. Hopefully she'll be back again in the future. And also thanks to my special guest, Walking Dude, for not only doing the module, but coming on here to talk about it with us. I really appreciate the both of you. And to the audience and to those of you that may be watching on YouTube later, thanks again, everybody, for supporting the channel. And until next time, good gaming, everyone.